Good, my people. Philan speaks back for another video. First Take this morning had a very interesting segment. This was between Stephen A. Smith, Andrea Carter, and Ogwumike, and also Shannon Sharp. And it's like a continuation of the Caitlin Clark stuff. And this time they're discussing women's USA basketball's decision to not include Caitlin Clark on the team. Stephen A. had some strong opinions about it. So did Shannon Sharp. They were pretty much on the same side versus Carter and Ogwumike. And I wanted to chime in on this here. And this time, this video, I know I mess around and, I troll and clown around with Caitlin Clark fans a lot. Though sometimes I'm serious. But this is an interesting conversation, man. I want to chime in here.
Caitlin Clark, the number one pick in April's WNBA draft, who had an up-and-down start to her WNBA career, did not make the Olympic team. Clark just put up 30 points versus the Mystics. That was her best game yet, while the Fever's attendance for games is 16,000 plus. This Olympic roster is combined for 15 Olympic gold medals, 18 W championships. It also includes 3 MVPs. You've heard these names: Breanna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, and Asia Wilson. Team USA seeking their 8th straight gold medal, which would break for the tie for the longest streak in men's or women's Olympic basketball. Also, there's no player under the age of 26 on that roster. Here's Caitlin on not making the team.
Honestly, no disappointment. I think it just gives you something to work for. That's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. We remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there.
We talked actually on the bus. She got the call on the bus, and she texted me to let me know, and I just tried to keep her spirits. The thing she said was, "Hey, coach, they woke a monster," which I thought was awesome.
All right. My girls joining us, Chiney Ogwumike, Andrea Carter. Ladies, good morning. I want to dive right into this one. Chiney, was it a mistake to leave Clark off the Olympic roster?
Hey guys, nice to see you all on this beautiful morning. I'll start with this, Molly. I grew up in the pipeline of USA basketball, competing at the U16s, U18s, World University Games, and I also brought back the first ever 3-on-3 gold World Championship medal. And what I have learned in my time with USAB is that Team USA's mission is to construct the best basketball team in the world. Now, as a fan of Caitlin Clark, I would have loved to see her on that stage, doing what she has always done, making moments that grow the game. But Team USA doesn't select simply based off of fandom, especially when the world is catching up. It took a buzzer beater from Stewie for them to beat Belgium in the Olympic qualifying tournament earlier this year. So to me, the primary factor looking at all of this was experience. 9 of the 12 players, as you mentioned, Molly, have competed in the Olympics before. 2 others were all WNBA, and one, the last spot, if you're going to try to list them down, was finals MVP. And if you dive into her position, the point guard position, again, they chose experience. Diana Taurasi, Chelsea Gray, Sabrina Ionescu, and even if you put a combo guard like Kelsey Blum into that category. Now that has opened them up to criticism, because Diana's about to turn 42, even though she's still averaging 16 points per game. Chelsea Gray has yet to play this season in the WNBA. And if you had the opportunity to put one of the most popular athletes in the world right now on the roster, you chose not to do that. And to me, that decision was largely based off of experienced basketball as players, not necessarily what's best for business, because the world is coming. And I know Andrea will highlight some other factors, like the physicality of overseas, especially for guards, is 10 times what it is in the WNBA. The familiarity of the roster is important. 8 of the players that...
I must say, the arrogance that Stephen A's, the arrogant look on Stephen A's face right now, it's just classic.
The roster played together at the World Cup in Australia. All of those things factored in the eyes of the committee. Was it a missed opportunity to grow the game? Yes. But to me, it looks like they were more concerned about missing gold.
All right, so Ogwumike starts out with obviously a basketball argument. Now, for me, as I am a fan of basketball, wanting to see the best players out there, I lean more towards her argument. I believe it's best to put the best players on the court. I actually am in favor of rookies not being on these types of teams with the vets. I think rookies should have to work for these types of things. I was not in favor of Christian Laettner being on the Olympic team as a rookie. I wasn't in favor of Anthony Davis. I'm just of that mindset, so I would lean more towards this here. But when they get to the other argument, get to the other side, to make some interesting points.
So if we're trying to go because we have a precedent here. This is not like this is to be the first time that we're adding a WNBA player.
Quality of overseas, especially for guards, is 10 times what it is in the WNBA.
What he means is a college player, not a WNBA player.
Familiarity of the roster is important. 8 of the players that made the roster played together at the World Cup in Australia. All of those things factored in the eyes of the committee. Was it a missed opportunity to grow the game? Yes. But to me, it looks like they were more concerned about missing gold.
Obviously there was a mess up here with this video.
If we're trying to go because we have a precedent here. This is not like this is to be the first time that we're adding a WNBA player. Because you remember in 2004, they put Diana Taurasi on this team. You remember in 2008, they put Candace Parker on this team. And in 2016, they put Stewie on this team. Now, I'm not saying Caitlin Clark is going to have the career that these, but we have a precedent here. They put the men's team, added Christian Laettner. In 2012, they added Anthony Davis because Blake Griffin got hurt. To highlight some of the things that you said, Chanae, is that hadn't played all year. Chelsea Gray hasn't played all year long. So what are we doing? Are we really at some point in time, we've got to stop talking about we're trying to grow the game. Because listen, is she as accomplished? Will she ever be as accomplished as a Stewie, as an Asia Wilson? And I believe those two, obviously they're slam dunk. They're the 2 best players in the WNBA, hands down, and it's not even close. But are we really trying to grow the game? Because this is the most popular women's basketball player in the world, and it ain't close. They had to move the Mystics game to an NBA arena. Name the time. And I'm going to turn it over to you because I don't want to get long-winded. I want somebody, one of our women colleagues, Stephen A., to tell me when a WNBA game has had to be moved because of a woman player. Just one. Just tell me one.
All right. So Shannon Sharp makes a good point here. Of course, he doesn't try to argue debate basketball, but he does make a serious point that because the USA Olympic team has added college players in previous years, and that has never stopped them, then in his opinion, it's a suspect that they don't do it this year. What I don't understand is if you are going to add a college player, why does it specifically have to be Caitlin Clark as opposed to just any other college player as well? I guess she's the number 1 pick. I guess that will be the reason. But still, like he said, Shaquille O'Neal, who's the number 1 pick, was not selected, and they selected Christian Laettner, who was. Stephen A. will kind of touch on that later.
Because I know in her attendance, she's averaging about 17,000. All the other WNBA games in which she's not a participant average about 7. So are we really?
But his whole argument clearly is about adding someone that is going to bring more eyeballs to the game. Which, I mean, that's a fair argument.
Trying to go the game? Is that what we're really trying to do? Or are we just talking about we're trying to grow the game and just bull jiving? So what woman is more popular?
If you wanna go from a marketing perspective, sure, Caitlin is extremely marketable. However, I just want to pitch this to everyone. Imagine Caitlin joining this team and spending time on the bench. What is the conversation going to be about the entire time the Olympics is going on? Why isn't Caitlin getting more minutes? Why isn't Caitlin playing? I'm sure people will tune in, but what will the conversation be then? I think it's really interesting. Head coach Christy Sides for the Indiana Fever said that a monster was woken up in Caitlin Clark, and I think that is wonderful. I think motivation for Caitlin is wonderful. I'm going to say this. A monster has been woken in all of the women that were selected for the Olympic team also because the conversation is again centered around Caitlin Clark. If your only argument for Caitlin is that it would have been a great marketing opportunity and you don't have basketball experience or chemistry with the group listed in your reasoning, I don't want to hear it. When you talk about Diana Taurasi, she has played overseas basketball. She is having a phenomenal season, putting up big...
Now, me, of course, as you all know if you follow the channel, I more so lean to what she's saying because I'm just, like, none of the money comes to me, right? So, personally, I couldn't care less about, you know, who's watching and all of that. Like, I watch for my reasons. Other people watch for their reasons. So, me personally, I don't really care about the marketing arguments. However, if I try to look at it from the perspective of like women's basketball and trying to grow it, if we're going to say that the WNBA is totally affiliated with USA basketball, for example, then maybe it is something they have to consider. You know, but I do agree with Andrea Carter that if Caitlin Clark is on the team, there is a major chance that there will be distractions because of the nature of how her fan base is. They feel like it's ridiculous that she's not there and she's popular. Many of them act like they're not going to watch because they're not basketball fans. So I get her point, but I also get where Shannon Sharp is coming from.
Time numbers, and two of her current teammates though are on the team. Shannon, you know what chemistry means. You know what it means to have somebody beside you out there on the playing field that you trust, someone that you know. Diana Taurasi knows Kalia Copper. Diana Taurasi knows how to get Brittany Griner the ball on the inside more than anyone else on the team does. Like, there's no way as a professional athlete you can sit here and completely discount what team chemistry and player chemistry stands for and what that means. And think about this. Every other country right now, they're practicing. Every other country is having an opportunity to put the product on the floor leading up to the Olympics. Team USA...
The arrogance of Stephen A. Smith. He doesn't even care about nothing she's saying because all he's looking at it is just money. Like, we need to get some money. That's all he cares about. But his part is really where we're going to get deep.
He does not have time for practice. Team USA does not have that time. They have 7 practices before the Olympics begin. So when it comes to training camp in 2022, the World Cup in April 2022, training camp in 2023, those reps and that chemistry matters. It's not Caitlin's fault she didn't have those opportunities to be a part of camp. Her team was playing in the Final Four. That's not Caitlin's fault. But chemistry matters, Shannon. You can't just go stats only. You truly cannot just go stats only.
Can I ask you a question? Did chemistry matter in 2004 when they put Taurasi on the team? Did chemistry matter in 2008 when they put Candace Park on the team? Did chemistry matter in 2016 when they put Stewart on the team? Is it really a simple yes or no question?
Well, really, the way she should respond to that is to say that they almost lost the last game, that it came down to the wire, and that teams overseas are getting better. That's how she should answer that, but, you know. She's not.
How about 2012? How about 2012 when my sister wasn't put on the team coming out as a rookie? Or 2016 when that happened again, when she's the only WNBA player to be MVP, not make an Olympic team? I'll say this, Shannon, there have been controversial cuts in the past. I know this better than anyone else. One being my sister, one being Candace Parker, even later in her career, one being Orike Ogwumike, who is the W's second leading scorer this year. You can literally make another medal-worthy roster of snubs. This happens every cycle. Would this have been another opportunity for Caitlin to do her thing on the global stage? Yes, it would have been. But at the end of the day, as much as rookies make it, rookies don't. As much as MVPs make it, MVPs don't. And I think what Andrea is speaking to is the familiarity, the physicality, the chemistry. Those things came first. Yes, it was a missed opportunity for fans, but Team USA does not construct their rosters based off of fandom. They do it based off of completing the mission of bringing back a historic 8th straight gold. Did you know that they would set a record, a Team USA record, surpassing the men who did it 7 straight?
Oh, Stephen A. Smith don't care nothing about that stuff, baby.
They would set a record if they win another gold. That is the priority here that I think Andrea is trying to speak to.
Y'all finished? Everybody finished? Everybody get it off the chest.
All right, now this is where it gets good. He gets to do his little performance here. He comes to Chitlin Circuit.
No, I got more points. I got more points for you, so go ahead, because I got more.
Okay. None of what Janae and Andrea said was inaccurate. And I'm going to say something to you that I have said on many, many occasions. It's not that you're wrong. It's that we don't care. Everything.
All right, translation, right? You're right when it comes to basketball, but the reality is, no, I'm telling you, this is for those who understand. You got to understand coon talk, right? Not saying that Stephen A's a coon, but what he's saying is, it's not that you're wrong. It's just that nobody cares what you're saying, because at the end of the day, the consumer who fits a certain demographic wants something different. And it is your job, if you really try to get paid, you really trying to get money, you have to submit to that consumer.
Y'all said does not matter for this particular instance. We don't want to hear anything about Team USA. We know they won 7 straight goals. Put Andrea and Shanae up on this screen. I want to look at them this whole segment when I'm talking to them. You just highlighted 7 straight gold medals. Oh my God. We're really worried that they're not going to get an 8th. Oh, we really worried. I mean, we got to make sure that spots 1 through 12, every single such spot that is picked. I mean, it's got to be, because it's pivotal, Shannon. I don't know if you noticed, Shannon, it's pivotal. I mean, they won 7 straight. They might not get 8. They might not get 8. Stop it. You know good and damn well, with or without Caitlin Clark, they gonna probably win the gold again. That's not what this conversation is about. This is about what I will personally label the idiocy of Team USA women's basketball. How dare you make this decision? It's stupid. And I'm gonna tell you why it's stupid. I want all the...
This is why it's dumb. Because life, my people, is about get money, 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 get money, 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 make money, money, make money, money, money. That's all he's going to say, but he's going to put it in his own way. Use long words instead of saying
ladies on this squad to know every single one of y'all are deserving of it. Caitlin Clark does not deserve a spot ahead of any of the players on this roster, okay? If we're talking just basketball, you know we're not. You know we're not. Let's harken back to the Dream Team in 1992. Remember when Christian Laettner was on that squad? Forget the other pro play. Forget the pro players. Forget the pro players. That's a given. First time NBA players were allowed to participate. Don't put that damn screen up when I'm talking right now. I want to see Shanae and Andrea, okay? The point is this. Those rosters, right? Those players were on there. Do you know that Christian Laettner also was chosen ahead of Shaquille O'Neal and Alonzo Mourning? You know why? He was a 2-time national champion. He was a Wooden Award winner. And he was white.
All right, now let's stop there. Let me tell you why this argument just was horrible. Okay? Now I ain't going to talk about the obvious part that he was white, which is what matters to Stephen A. Right? Stephen A basically just said, none of that matters, because what matters is this here. Caitlin Clark, was she a 2-time national championship winner like Christian Laettner was? No. Who did win national championships that was a rookie? Cardosa, right? Angel Reese, right? She didn't win them. So that doesn't matter. But he's saying, and she was white. So basically what he's trying to say is she's white. She's popular. Her core fan base, of course, there are black people that like to watch her and that argue for her and all of that, and I mess with them a lot, right? But her core fan base, middle American white people, who are going to go out there and spend money to watch her, to buy her jersey, to consider her a role model for their kids, all of those types of things. What Stephen A. Smith is basically saying is, when you see that type of interest coming from that particular group of people, you need to submit to it.
He had his own cachet. He brought it to the table. He was a big-time collegiate player who was white and busting people's you-know-what. They couldn't miss, and they didn't need him. You had Jordan. You had Magic.
You see why he just picked his own apartment together apart? They didn't need him. The NBA didn't need Christian Laettner. So his argument doesn't make any sense if you're trying to argue that the WNBA needs Caitlin Clark for marketing. Christian Laettner was picked there, and actually it's a bad, or I'll say it's not a argument that makes sense anyway, or it's not appropriate because prior to 92, they were always picking college players to go overseas and play. They always represented for Team USA. It was after losing the gold medal in '88 that in '92 they started to get NBA players. So adding Christian Laettner was just another guy to add, but it had nothing to do with marketing.
Everybody, and you still picked that dude. Why? It wasn't because of basketball, even though he had the basketball credentials. It was because of something else, and they didn't need the pub. But the WNBA does.
So he just took his own apart. He just took his own together to pick apart his own argument. What did you throw Christian Laettner in there for?
You got a max salary at $250,000. You had attendance, although it was trending in the right direction, certainly wasn't where you wanted it to be. And as Shannon pointed out, just the other day, you got a team in the Indiana Fever with their struggling selves, struggling to win a damn game and be relevant. No team in the WNBA was worse other than the winless Washington Mystics, okay? And they went from 4,000 in attendance to 17,000. This girl is box office. I said a rising tide lifts all boats. What you do, especially if you're Team USA and you're trying to be globalized, it is an opportunity to globalize the WNBA brand. So people like Brittany Griner, God bless her soul, and others don't have to go to Russia in the off season to play additional basketball to get extra income. They could stay right here if the sport elevates its popularity and you ladies start getting what you richly deserve. I'll even get a bit personal to Janae Ogwumike and Andrea Carter. I recognize the fact that y'all are outstanding basketball analysts. You know how I feel about both of y'all. I told you privately, I've told the world publicly. I think y'all are a tag team for the ages. I think y'all are spectacular. But as spectacular as you are about talking the game of basketball, is that why you think I call for you to be on First Take? It ain't just because of your expertise. It's because you're great television. You matter.
What are you saying? What is he talking about? Because they're sexy? Because they're black? What are you saying? It's not because of their expertise. You're just good. You're great television. What are you talking about? Well, anyway, I don't completely disagree with Stephen A's points or what he's getting at. But what it boils down to is your value system, everyone's personal value system. Stephen A clearly, in his value system, he puts money very, very high. And I think most people do. So, and I don't hate on that. It's just everybody has their own scale. Everybody has their own barometer here. Everybody has their own limits as to what they'll do for money and what they'll give up for money, what they're willing to sacrifice or not sacrifice. Everyone is different in this regard. So Stephen A. Smith, without a surprise, without a doubt, he's saying, hey, look, the white people are the majority in the United States. And when the white people band together and kind of support and run behind something, he's saying use that as opposed to like opposing it. He says it's just stupid. Now, the only thing I don't get is when you speak specifically about growing the game, is you want, I don't quite get what he wants these women in the WNBA to do. All right, I get the Fever sells out games at home, and the Fever actually helps to sell out games on the road. It is a phenomenal thing. I will never understand why people want to watch her that bad. But if that's the case, that's the case. But for a team that's not the Fever and not the Aces who are selling out, for a team that's not them, how would they expect to grow ultimately? Is just Fever games selling out enough for them to grow? Is it enough for them to do all of these things he's asking? Okay, I get it. When the Fever comes and visits my city twice a year or 3 times a year, if I'm just the Phoenix Sun or whatever, I get a sellout 3 times a year. What happens the rest of the year? I'm not getting a sellout. So how does that translate into just so much more money for me just because of one player, Caitlin Clark? No, I think what's oftentimes missed is that the WNBA has to use Caitlin Clark, but also find a way to promote the other teams. You have to grow more than one team. You have to grow, if you have 14 teams, okay, you need to grow at least 8, 9 of them, you would say, for it to be a profitable thing. And then number 2, you got to get the players to be on board with it. Let's say if you did take Caitlin Clark overseas. You got to have the other players on board with her playing. And the only way to do that is it's not going to be by you promising them, okay, if you let this girl play, let's say you let her shine, let's give her the ball, let's center everything around her. What is that going to do for those ladies now? Now, if the WNBA is going to say, okay, look, I'll give y'all extra $100,000 and to let Caitlin Clark come and play and start, I think they'd all be for it. Because you understand, they have to see the money that you're talking about. Like Stephen A. Smith is like, he keeps talking about this money at the end of the rainbow is this pot of gold that's going to happen if you kind of let Caitlin Clark, this Caitlin Clark thing just grow and pick up steam. You just got to let it happen. And I'm promising you, ladies, there's going to be all this money at the end of the road. Well, if you're a lady playing in the WNBA right now, what does that do for you right now? Is the WNBA offering you an extra check right now? No, it appears to me that if the Fever is selling out here and there, okay, that enriches the pockets of who the owners, if anybody. When does that trickle down to the players? Like what you're talking about in the eyes of most of these players may not be seen until after some of them retire. You know, maybe there'll be some little increase during the next bargaining agreement, perhaps. But it's going to take more than just Caitlin Clark. It's going to take more than just the Fever selling out. You know, that's kind of like, I think, what gets lost in this whole argument. And I wish these ladies would kind of go there with the argument. Like, Stephen A. has to explain exactly how it's going to happen. He's just speaking very generally and about something that could happen, sure. But these ladies need to see it, you know what I mean, to believe it. Some of them might just let Caitlin Clark win the damn championship. Shit, if you tell them, okay, we'll pay you all $1 million to let Caitlin Clark win the championship, the Fever, they probably just do it. But right now, are they seeing an increase in their checks from it? You know, to allow them to do this stuff Stephen A. wants, whatever that is? I don't think so. So I think that's the other problem.
You draw an audience. This man, I don't even call Shannon anymore unless I'm teasing him about the Saturday Night Live skit. It's the truth, Shannon. That's the only time I call him Shannon. You know what I call him now? I call him Shay or Shay. Why? Because damn it, that brand is growing. You understand what this man has done to help Live First Take? I ain't apologizing. You make decisions, marketing. I want people watching. I want eyeballs. I want advertising dollars. Why? Because he'll get paid. Y'all will get paid. And guess who else will get paid? You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah, that sounds good, but when? That's the thing. You know, he just thinks he has this profound understanding of something that nobody gets. I think people get that, right? In other words, I guess I already said it, but are they offering these ladies some money right now? Or is it just a promise of if we ride Caitlin Clark, we'll get money in the future? No, you got to talk to them. Right? That has to be communicated to them. It's the only way that'll work. Right now, you're just trying to sound smart and brilliant and trying to make other people look stupid.
That's what it's about. Stop acting otherwise. We know this. You don't sit up there and pass on Caitlin Clark. It was stupid, Team USA. It was a dumb decision. Everybody, there's always somebody that's a sacrificial lamb. I respect the hell out of Rebecca Lobo and what she broke down. I understand it. It was a stupid decision because it compromises what your ultimate goal is, which is to elevate the WNBA brand. How can you be that?
No, it's just to make money, Stephen A. Stop it.
I'm not talking about y'all. I'm talking about Team USA. How could you be that idiotic and not make that call when throughout history, Team USA has been in part about marketing? It's dumb. Period. Floor's y'all's.
If it's a dumb marketing move, Stephen A., I hear you.
Marketing.
But Team USA is not worried about the marketing. That is not Team USA's mission right now. Team USA is trying to get a gold medal. They're trying to get a...
They can't understand none of that. They're like, shit, it's about we better get this money, or you better stop complaining. Yeah, but you got to kind of explain how to go along with it.
Gold medal. I understand what y'all are saying. And Shannon, you want to mention, I'm not going back to 1996. That is so long ago. I was 3 years old. I'm not going back to that year. That's too far away. If you go back to 2016, Breanna Stewart being a rookie on that Olympic team, the coach was Gino Auriemma. There was an anchor there for Breanna Stewart to thrive in that situation. There were 4 other...
All right, this is getting a little boring because she keeps trying to argue the basketball with these guys, and they don't care anything about the basketball, and she just keeps reiterating it, and they just keep talking money. But later on, Shannon Sharp mentioned something about if you are selling jerseys, for example, and Caitlin Clark, her jersey will outsell all of the women there, even Asia Wilson's or whatever, you know. He's right, you know. So maybe if you're Team USA, yeah, put her on the team. Don't let her play. Sell her jersey and just make money off her. I guess you could do that, you know. But you're still going to have to placate those other women. What you're going to have to do is throw them some extra money. And everybody will be fine. You know, you ain't got to worry about jealousy and all of that. If you want to let this girl shine, okay, put an extra $100,000 in their check at the end of the year. Right? Now, I'm sure they'll be like, okay, whatever. We'll make her the greatest ever. Shoot. All right, that's all I got, man. So, this is the Forever to Nowhere argument. Peace out.